Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. I hope you've all been enjoying this wet and cool weather we've been experiencing over the past couple days. It looks like the respite from hot weather that we've been experiencing will be short-lived, as the Weather Service has triple digits in the forecast by the end of the week. Middle Valley agriculture and conveyance demand has been 850 cubic feet per second this past week, and the available flows into the Middle Valley are currently about 1,400 cubic feet per second of native Rio Grande water. Native Rio Grande water is water that originates in the Rio Grande Basin and is subject to the rules of the Rio Grande Compact. Since available flows are higher than demand, there's currently enough water in the system to meet the agricultural and conveyance needs. But the high mountain snow has all but melted, and when you take the spikes in river flow from rains out of the picture, river flows are generally on the decline. And as you can see in the river gauge, as you can see this in the river gauges within the basin. Here's the USGS river gauge on the La Puente, which is on the Chama, upstream of all the reservoirs on the Chama. This gauge measures inflows. The flows have declined to almost 150 cubic feet per second in the past week at this gauge, and flows are about 300. So flows are about 300 cubic feet per second today. The next gauge I have is the USGS Otoe index gauge on the main stem of the Rio Grande, which is upstream of Cochiti Reservoir. This gauge is the gauge that is used to calculate New Mexico's Rio Grande Compact delivery obligations. It's also a good measure of how much water is entering the Middle Valley. So flows at this gauge have been on the decline, and they were about 1,500 cubic feet per second before rain inflows that we saw last night. You can see that little uptick at the end of the hydrograph there, and that's from rain inflows. But generally you see that downward trend. So once native inflows are not sufficient to meet agriculture and conveyance demand for the Middle Rio Grande, the MRGCD will have to start releasing from its limited available water from storage. MRGCD does not have any native Rio Grande water in storage this year due to Rio Grande Compact restrictions. Just as a reminder, New Mexico's Rio Grande Compact debt at the end of 2023 was 122,000 acre feet. The only storage water available this year will be MRGCD's 2024 San Juan Chama water, which is expected to be at least 18,000 acre feet. San Juan Chama water is water imported from the San Juan River through the Bureau of Reclamation San Juan Chama project. San Juan Chama water is not subject to the rules of the Rio Grande Compact, as this water is imported from another river basin. I expect MRGCD could be releasing this water from storage by the middle of June. How long this water lasts will depend on summer rainstorms and how much MRGCD will need to supplement native Rio Grande flows. I expect MRGCD could be out of San Juan Chama water by early to mid-July. Once MRGCD has exhausted its San Juan Chama water, we will have no ability to augment naturally occurring river flows, and we will be a run-of-the-river system. What this means for the Middle Valley is after all MRGCD San Juan Chama water has been released, irrigators can expect extended periods between irrigation events or even limited irrigation deliveries from mid-July into early fall. The forecasted weather is hot with some chances for rain on Thursday through Saturday, and the National Weather Service's seasonal outlook shows we can expect above average temperatures and below average precipitation through August. That's all I have to report today, and with that I will stand for questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Marken. Any